Welcome back to Tailgate Talk Season 1, Episode number 9. In this episode, we're going to be covering epic college football games, as well as Southwest Virginia football. We're going to be going over the Mountain 7 District and the Cumberland District, including this past week's games with Rye Cove Eastside, Union, and Ridgeview. Last week was our big games of the week, boys. But first, let's get into a little bit of the NFL football. And my question to you two is, are the 49ers the best all-around team right now in the league?
They look good, don't they?
Man, they sure did against... I think they're the most consistent right now.
They're physical, I know that.
Man alive. I'll tell you, something I was impressed with, which I watched him play last year, but man, them linebackers for San Francisco, holy Lord. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. God, did y'all see that little poor running back catch that ball in the middle of the field? And Dre Greenlaw absolutely lit his world up. That dude is a monster.
He really is.
And you're playing right beside Fred Warner. I mean, Fred Warner's arguably the best linebacker in the NFL. I think he's one of the best, I think I'd put him right at the top, man. But, man, and then that 49ers offense, man, sheesh. They just got so many weapons.
Oh, and I just think they're on both sides of the ball right now about the best I've seen in the league so far.
Did y'all see the double reverse flea flicker? I mean, they were just doing whatever they wanted to. And man,
they dominated that game again.
And
Dallas's defenses.
I thought they looked good this whole year, Dallas has, but man,
their defenses looked real good.
Which, Dak Prescott had a terrible game. Threw 3 interceptions. I mean,
well, was it as much that he was having a terrible game, or
that's
San
true
Francisco
too.
was
but
daggone just wearing it out, man?
They were all over him, but man, that defense is nasty. I love watching them play ball.
Yeah. Well, I know Chicago got a win this week, but they've been talking about trading Justin Fields to Atlanta. What do y'all think about that? Should they go ahead and do it? Because now that they got that win, they're like second guessing if they should or not. I mean, I think Atlanta would be a whole lot better team right now if they had Justin Fields.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Justin Fields he's looked awful all year, but last year I thought he played, pretty decent. Like, he's a super threat running the ball. I mean, I think.
Well, most of the time he's running for his life.
Right.
Their offensive line is absolutely. It reminds me of Don't you think it reminds you of the offensive line that the Lions always had with Barry
Sanders?
Yeah,
running for his life.
He's having to work his rear end off to get his yards.
I don't know.
He got them all on his own.
I don't know who the Bears' backup is either.
I don't really know either.
But, I mean, if they did trade, they'd have to get a quarterback back. And Desmond Ridder, I don't think is that guy either. But I personally wouldn't do it.
I don't think it's so much that they need to trade him. I think they need to bring in some better linemen, better blocking. I mean, you get another quarterback, he's going to be running for his life too.
But I'll tell you, DJ Moore had a huge game this week. Did y'all see his stats? 8 catches for 230 and 3 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
It's a huge game, man. But Fields played good this week. He had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So, I don't know, man.
Maybe they'll get it turned around with him or something. I mean, he's the kind of player you need with that kind of offensive line that's going on.
Yeah.
But I reckon if the trade went on, that they was going to end up getting the first 2 picks in next year's draft.
Sure.
So, I mean, that would be huge to get those 2 picks.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, is his time coming to an end in New England, boys?
I've heard that somebody said that, they seen something on, I don't remember what it was, but there was some kind of NFL source that said Bill's thinking about hanging it up. But the Patriots do stink. I mean, they are bad.
Well, I think he's more than just a coach. He's in with the general managers and stuff. Yeah. He wants to have say-so and who they bring in, who they don't bring in. And I think they're kind of cutting him out on that. So now, and if that is the case, then I'd say he's fixing to hang it up.
Well, if Bill Belichick is done for, it'll be because Bill's ready to hang it up. It ain't going to be because I don't think they're going to run him off, because he definitely deserves to stay there as long as he wants. All he's done for him. So if he does hang it up, I think it's going to be on him, whether he wants to hang it up or not.
Well, what if they are cutting him out and not letting him have say-so, and they bring in and out? Because they know that he's hands-on with that. So do you cut him off there to kind of force him out? Or
I'll tell you this, though. I am super glad the Patriots stink. I've been a Dolphins fan my whole life. Tom Brady just beating the Dolphins to death, and now they're awful. And Mac Jones is not that guy. I'll go ahead and tell you
he's
that.
been benched the last 2 weeks.
Gosh.
Your starting quarterback gets benched the last 2 weeks.
He threw 2 interceptions, I think, this week. Had to play terrible last week. Shit. It looks rough for the Pats.
I know when I growed up, I loved the Dolphins, loved Dan Marino, and it really wasn't so much New England that was hurting them back then. It was always Buffalo that had a thorn in their side that they never could get past in the playoffs. And I think it's just flip-flopping back to Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, anybody else got anything else in the NFL? College football, week number 6.
Crazy week.
I did have something. I just forgot about it. I seen this just real quick. Crazy stat. So the Dolphins, they're playing awesome this year. I seen a thing, the top 10 fastest speeds in the NFL that they clock people run this year. Every single one of them is a Miami Dolphins player.
Really?
Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, and Raheem Mostert all were on the list.
I knew Tyreek would be in there.
Man, it's a track meet. Yeah, they clocked Tyreek at 22.01 miles per hour. He's the fastest. That's the fastest they clocked anybody in the league this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They own some good stuff down there in Miami.
Yeah, and but Achane's going to be out. He got a knee injury against the Giants, so that sucks.
Hey, remember the time that Seattle was playing, that guy intercepted that ball and was gone?
DK Metcalf chasing him down.
Metcalf. What did they clock him at?
I don't know. It was fast.
He was moving.
Because Buda Baker's fast, too, when he picked the ball off. But,
oh, my.
sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
Hey, it's good, man. It's all good. College football, week number 6. We had Virginia Tech 17, Florida State 39.
Sorry, Kermit.
It's kind of the way we expected it to go. I will have to say that Virginia Tech made a great comeback in this game and had it close there for a little while. So, Kermit, I bet you're happy to see.
I'm just happy to see them move the ball and put points up, especially on Florida State. Florida State jumped out to a quick, 20-0 lead there. And then Virginia Tech didn't give up. They hung in there. They put some points on the board, made it a little interesting.
See, they brought it back to within 10 there, didn't they?
Yeah,
I thought so.
But yeah, I'm glad to see this Virginia Tech offense doing something, moving the ball, and I believe they're headed in the right direction.
Shoot, yeah, man. Georgia 51, Kentucky 13. Georgia looked like what Georgia should be looking like in this game.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I take away from this game is I watched this one, and it wasn't that Tech's defensive players played so bad, but Georgia's receivers made some of the best catches I've seen all year. And I'm telling you, you could have took any top 5 and put all of them on there. And I guarantee you Georgia would have filled up the whole top 5 if you wanted to make a top 5 catch list on this game right here.
That one guy did make it. Yeah.
Their tight end is a stud, too. That Brock Bowers guy.
Yeah.
Man, he's so good. My cousin, I was hanging out with my Uncle Bob this weekend. We both got back from hunting. His son was there. He's like, Kentucky wins today. Kentucky wins today. I was like, you're crazy as sin. Like, I knew what it was about to be.
Speaking of that, Brock Bauer, he caught that one in the end zone down there. And, I mean, it wasn't so much to catch. It was, man, he got the wood laid to him, and he held on to it. But, man, there was so many great catches in that game from Georgia.
It was definitely like a compilation highlight reel in that game on catches, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
But Kentucky didn't run the ball very good. They didn't really throw the ball that great, I didn't think. It's just
Georgia came out, man,
that
looking
Georgia
like
defense, man.
we
it's
expected
crazy.
Georgia to look like this year.
Yeah, they're crazy. Yeah.
And I mean,
At the first of the game, man, it was a flag here, flag there. It was just wasn't going Kentucky's way with the flags in this game. But man, I was finally happy when the refs finally put them flags up and let them play.
Yeah.
it's funny how a referee can control a game and change it.
It is.
LSU 59.
49.
Oh, was it 49?
49, yeah.
49, Mizzou 39. That's right, it was.
Yeah, 49. They won by 10.
This was a back and forth game for a while.
Yeah, you were absolutely right, it was. But LSU's quarterback went off again. He is such a stud, man. I love watching him play. But Mizzou's quarterback, he played crazy too, man. He had like 400 yards passing, which Mizzou threw the ball like a ton too. But
Yeah. Defense is what's killing that LSU right now.
yeah, I agree. Especially like against the SEC teams. Man,
What's the fix?
You can't.
The way LSU's playing, you'd think they was in the Pac-12 right now.
Well,
Where they're playing ball.
Something that I see is, I can't remember this guy's name, plays on their defense. He's number 4. He's like a super athlete. But, man, when they put him on the edge and let him get after the quarterback, man, he makes stuff happen like every play that they let him do it. But, like, it seems like to me, like 75% of the time they got him in pass coverage. And I'm like, this dude is your best pass rusher. Like, consistently. He's always, every play they put him in there, he's hurrying the quarterback or, hitting him or doing something. And I'm like, if you got a pass rusher that good, get him on the daggum edge, man. Quit throwing him in coverage. But that's the thing, too. When they put him in the middle, he's like a crazy sideline-to-sideline cover linebacker, I mean, he's an unreal player. But, man, if I had somebody that could rush the passer like that, I think that's what I'd have him doing. But that ain't the complete fix.
Do you have him blitzing, or do you like moving to like defensive end? Or?
Well, I mean, you just got to throw him down there somehow, I mean, I don't care how he gets to rush him, just let him rush. But, like, on third down, they'll throw him on the edge, man. He always just wreaking havoc on the edge. But, I don't know, man. It's rough being an LSU fan.
I tell you, Daniels just carried this team on his back. In this game right here, he had him on his back. And
he's a heck of a player, man.
They got it.
He's fast as lightning, too. There was like a 3rd and 20-something. He picked it up, running the ball. He's a stud, though. But that's about all I got for that one.
Yeah. Syracuse, North Carolina. Syracuse was 7. North Carolina was 50.
Yeah.
North Carolina, my boys, is very good this year.
Yeah.
May, or is that his name?
Yeah.
His name had almost 500 yards in this game.
Yeah. I picked Syracuse to win.
5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns?
I picked Syracuse to win.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, there's fixing to be a big game coming up right here for North Carolina. And I know that some of you are probably going to look at me crazy when we get there, but I mean, after what happened this week. But
did we not? Was this game at North Carolina?
Yeah,
it was at North Carolina.
Yeah,
we thought it was at Syracuse.
Yeah, we thought it was at Syracuse.
Yeah. So I mean, man, North Carolina's looking like a team. I think they if they get by Miami this week, I mean, they probably have a shot at the ACC championship and could be in that college playoff. But you never know. I mean, it is North Carolina. I've seen them blow some seasons before. But as of right now, what it looks like, do y'all not feel like they have a good shot at least the ACC championship?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Florida State's going to be
them and Duke, that's going to be interesting. North Carolina and Duke going at it.
If it's anything like this game, it ain't going to be much. Texas 30, Oklahoma 34, boys.
Huge upset.
Listen, I'm not sure that is an upset. I'm going to tell you this right here, son. Oklahoma is back.
Yeah.
This was the Red River rivalry.
Son, he pulled out the nose. He's serious about this.
The Red River rivalry, son. In my opinion, this was what college football is all about. The atmosphere was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And Dylan Gabriel had the biggest drive of his life with 1:17 left to go in the game. In the Cotton Bowl, baby. Put him on his back. He had every single yard in that. And that touchdown pass in the back of the end zone will be one that will never be forgotten. Now, what do you think about that?
I think Aaron put the iron jinx on me when I talked about how good Texas was on both sides of the ball. And Aaron agreed with me. He just put the jinx on my Texas Longhorns. And
this game was actually won in the red zone.
oh yeah,
Oklahoma was in the red zone 6 times and came out with 34 points.
Yeah.
if you like good football, this was a great game.
Yeah, it was.
Texas was in the red zone 3 times and had 3 points.
That's
huge.
And Dylan Gabriel also led him in rushing. He had like over 100 yards rushing, I think, too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's really, really good. But, you know, what's the kid from Texas' name, the quarterback from Texas? Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he threw 2 interceptions, but I didn't think he really played terrible. He still had like close to 400 yards. And the Texas run game I thought looked pretty good too. They were feeding that one guy. But man, I didn't expect it. I really didn't. I figured Texas would handle them pretty good, but Oklahoma.
Well, get ready. Are y'all ready?
I guess.
yeah.
Because guess what? We're going to see it again.
You turned into a Sooners fan?
No. I'm not turning
Look at
into
you.
a Sooners fan. But that game was like one of the best games I've watched in the atmosphere, dude. I mean, I was pumped up for it.
It was good.
And they're going to see each other again. I really feel like that. It'll be the championship game again right there.
I hope so, because
With the winner making the college playoffs. Y'all disagree or y'all agree?
I don't know.
I can't get nothing out of this.
I don't know.
All right, Alabama 26, Texas A&M 20. Bama still doing it ugly, boys.
Man.
that's way too ugly, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of us predicted this to be this close.
No.
I mean, I don't think we give Bama a lot of points, but ain't nobody predicted this close. And
No, but we've said they're going to win games ugly.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. And
No
the
doubt.
thing of it is, they're finding a way to win games.
yeah, but they fixing to lose a game playing that ugly.
Yeah. I did think Jalen Milroe had a good game this week. From what I watched of it, I thought he played pretty good. I thought Alabama's defense played pretty good, but man, I just figured they would just run. I didn't think their defense played very good. I got that. I was just on Milroe, but man, Texas A&M they just started moving the ball. Man, I was like, daggone, like
Maybe they figured out something.
I don't know, but Alabama definitely ain't what they was. I mean, which, they've not been the past few years, but I didn't figure they'd play that close with A&M. They got Arkansas next week, which I think they'll beat Arkansas, but they could have another close one right there. But, then they get straight into the conference play, and then, you got Tennessee, LSU, Kentucky, right, all back-to-back. That's going to be a tough stretch for Bama.
But
I'm not saying that, LSU or Kentucky or Tennessee even beats them. I'm just saying, you're taking
But ain't most of these biggest games at Alabama this year?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where those
Tennessee is.
Tennessee's at Alabama. I think LSU's at Alabama, too. and then I think Kentucky is at Kentucky. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
But are we gonna have the same Kentucky that we had?
I don't know. That's
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's going to matter if Georgia keeps playing the way they're playing.
Yeah.
Alabama ain't going to stand a chance.
Hey, as long as they make that championship game, I mean, they got a chance, and I believe they'll be there.
You think they'll have a chance at the playoffs with 2 losses?
They've only got one right now.
They got one right now.
Well, they'll have one against Georgia though.
They won't.
They don't play Georgia.
That's what I'm saying. They will in that championship game.
Yeah.
But if they'll have to win the championship to get in.
But you still got to get past Tennessee, LSU, and Kentucky. Still, I mean,
Tennessee and LSU's at Bama, so
well, I mean, you never
I
know.
think that goes in Alabama's favor.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, and LSU's gonna have to fix the defense.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be a wild matchup because we know LSU can put the points up, but can Bama match them in points?
That is true. Yeah.
That is very true.
It'd be good. It'd be an interesting game to watch.
Hopefully they'll bench Milrow and let them other 2 kids play when they play LSU because they clearly just ain't very good with them 2 kids.
I really doubt we see those 2 anymore.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
All right, guys, let's get on into the college football Week 7 picks. Up first, we got Indiana, Michigan. Let's go with you first, Sean. What you got in this one, buddy?
I got the Michigan Wolverines. Indiana's 2-3. I don't think they're real great. Michigan's rolling. They're 6-0, number 2 in the country behind Georgia. I think they'll roll.
And nobody's talking about them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're a really quiet number 2, and they're putting points up on people too. I mean, they beat Minnesota last week 52 to something. But I think, I don't think that they've really played any super tough teams yet either though. But
They haven't.
But I mean, I got Michigan rolling.
Usually their biggest game is Ohio and Michigan State and sometimes Penn State, depending on how good Penn State is. But, yeah, I take Michigan big in this game.
Yeah. I'll take Michigan pretty big in this one myself.
But they do got Penn State and Ohio State coming up near the end of the schedule, so those should be 2 tougher tests for them here. So.
Yeah. And usually the winner of the Ohio State or, Michigan State, those Penn State games usually, of those 3 teams, usually gets in out of that conference,
I was a Michigan fan growing up as a kid, and I just love watching Michigan and Michigan State.
Gosh. I just want to know why.
We done talked about this, but I just love watching Michigan and Michigan State play because, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Them was some of the best ball games that I've ever watched because no matter how dominant one team is, sometimes it just don't go that way.
Yeah.
They make it interesting up there.
Rivalry games. Anything can happen, man, in a good rivalry.
Was it because of their helmet, the way they had the yellow stripes back to the blue? I bet you wanted to be. I bet you wanted to be a Virginia High Bearcat fan just because their helmets was created. They used to look exactly like Michigan's, just black and orange.
You just can't get over that blue and gold.
Oh God! All right, Texas A&M and Tennessee. This could be a good game.
It's good.
This could be very interesting.
It could be very interesting.
Is that Tennessee or is it at Texas A&M?
I think it's at Tennessee. Yeah, it's at Neyland.
Let's you go first, Carmen.
Well, I don't really watch much of either one of these teams, but I'd take Tennessee over Texas A&M.
Man, you going next?
I
Go ahead.
I can. I'm going to take Tennessee, as bad as I hate to, because I wanted to take the A&M. But I'm going to take Tennessee. I think, I don't know. I just feel like Tennessee will pull it out.
I just think Texas A&M's offense has struggled big time this year, and that's the only reason I'm gonna give the nod to Tennessee.
Texas A&M likes to play with 11 players on the field, or plus one, their coach. So I mean, it's hard to beat 12 guys against 11, even though one of them's the coach. So, oh man, I just don't know that Texas A&M has 2 weeks in them like that, like they,
Play against Alabama.
back to back. So. I think it's going to be closer than what we may think. I don't think it's going to be a big blowout. Like if I was to say a score, I'd probably have it like Tennessee by 14 or even 21.
Okay.
OSU and UCLA.
Who's going first?
Go ahead, Bubby.
I got OSU. I like OSU. I watched them play. Gosh, who did they play this last week? Cal, 52-40. That's a crazy score, but I like Oregon State. Something about that orange and black. I don't know. I just like it. I remember like a few years ago they had these helmets that like the stripe came all the way down the face mask.
I love
those. They were so cool.
Oh, they were, man.
Yeah, I just I ain't big on California teams, so I'll take Oregon State.
Yeah, I'd go with Oregon State in this myself. Carmen?
I'm gonna go against you. I'll go with UCLA just to prove you wrong.
What in the last time you did that, you didn't prove nothing.
Last time I went with you, Texas got beat.
Oh my gosh. Cal and Utah, this is a pretty big game right here.
I got Utah.
I'll take the California Dream.
What?
I'm going Utah too. I think their defense is good enough to make the difference.
Yeah.
So I'm going Utah. I'd probably take Utah by 14 actually.
Okay.
Oh, can Kentucky bounce back right here, boys, against the Mizzou?
I tell you, Georgia really made Kentucky look bad, but I think Kentucky helped themselves make them look bad with all the stupid penalties, and you just can't have stupid penalties like that in a game and want to go down there and compete with the number one team in the nation. But
No, that's for sure.
As bad as I hate to, I'm gonna go with them Wildcats.
I'm going Mizzou in this one myself.
I'm gonna go with the Kentucky Wildcats too.
You just getting on the Kermit bandwagon,
No,
Sean?
I'm just going with the Kentucky Wildcats, baby.
Oh, NC State Duke.
I got the Duke Blue Devils, son.
I got Duke Blue Devils myself.
Big Dookie, baby.
So all around the table on the Duke. LSU Auburn.
They'll lose now. we never pick all three and somebody wins. You know that ain't happening.
That is true, right? NC State and Duke.
We just picked that one. We're on.
LSU Auburn. I'm sorry.
Somebody else go first.
Oh man.
And I'm gonna go with Auburn just cause they impressed me the way they played with Georgia, even though it was in Auburn. But I'm gonna go with Auburn and a little bit of defense in this one.
Well, if you're going to have a little bit of defense, Auburn is the way to go, and that's why I'm going to go Auburn in this one.
Well, I'm going to go with the LSU Tigers. Surprise.
I don't blame you. I mean, LSU.
I got to pull for it, man. But I will say this. I think it could get bad for LSU because if Auburn can stop Jaden Daniels and them, LSU's going to have a long day because they have no defense at all. I mean, they've proved that consistently here for the last few weeks. So if Auburn can stop them, I mean, and I don't think it's going to take very many stops, but
maybe one or two.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could beat them, but I am going to pick my LSU Tigers.
Florida State, Syracuse.
Absolutely, Florida State. Syracuse played the way they did, I don't care where they're playing this game at. Florida State's going to roll them just like they got rolled by North Carolina.
Yeah, I got Florida State by a bunch, too.
Florida State's going to have to play the whole game like they did portions of this Virginia Tech football game. But I got Florida State in this one as well. All right. Washington, Oregon. I think this is the biggest game, one of the biggest games that's on the docket for this week. So, lead it off there.
He got it out again. Daggone.
What you got, Sean?
Well, this is an interesting one. 7-8 too, to rank 7-8. But here's what I think about this one. I think that both of these quarterbacks are playing like elite football right now. Like you got Penix Jr. with 2,000 yards already. His touchdown to interception ratio is like 16-1. And I didn't know this till today, but I was looking at stats earlier. But Bo Nix has like 1,500 yards, and his touchdown ratio is like 15-1. So,
it's definitely the best two quarterback.
Man, it's a quarterback battle for sure. But I am going to take Washington.
Yeah,
just
baby.
Because I love Michael Penix Jr. Man, he is special. I love watching him play. But it's going to be a good one. I think it'll be a shootout for sure.
Yeah, you go ahead, Kirby.
I know what Aaron's going to say, but I'm going to go Washington because, I go Oregon. Aaron's crazy. Oregon will win this game, and they won't just win it. They'll win it big.
Oh.
Dude, are you out of your mind, dude?
I know what stats you got over there. Go ahead and read them off.
Listen, this is the biggest game that these two teams have ever played.
I don't care how many stats you got. I'm going to Oregon.
It's the first time that both of them have actually been ranked when they play. Normally when this game comes around, one's really good or one really sucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, oh my gosh, College Game Day's going to be there.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be another one of them like the Red River rivalry last week. You know, golly. Both of them's 5-0.
Yeah.
The winner definitely has the leg up in this thing of making the playoffs and the
Pac-12.
the conference championship game. I think Oregon is more balanced between the two as far as on offense, run, pass ratios together. But, man, Washington's defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
And I think defense is the difference in this game. And Penix, Washington's defense is top 20. Defense. Oregon's is nowhere close.
What they held their last opponents to? 6 points?
Who, Oregon?
Oregon.
I don't know.
What they hold Colorado to?
They almost got beat.
Yeah, they almost lost to Colorado.
Yes. See, now you don't change it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
No, they killed Colorado.
Yeah, they held Colorado 6.
That's now.
They held Colorado to 6 points?
Yeah.
They ain't got no defense. We're going to see, baby.
We're talking about a 6-6 on the average team in Colorado, Kurt.
Now, don't get off the Dion wagon now, big boy.
Man, Oregon gives up the most passes of any team in the league so far this year. Like, they cannot. I mean, I know some of them are short passes, but I mean, and you're giving up a lot of passes to teams, and then you got Penix coming in there. He's going to light you up.
He's a stud.
But now Oregon, if they are going to have a chance, they're going to have to put some pressure on him, and maybe they can. But I got Washington big, and I think you're crazy, Kermit.
Before we move on,
I don't think it's big, but
to high school football, I got something to touch on.
well, we still got 2 games here to pick.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, and the one that you're wanting to touch on, you can talk about it.
Okay.
on the last one. Is that good?
Yeah.
USC Notre Dame.
USC by 1,000,000.
Absolutely, USC.
USC ain't got no defense either.
I don't care. You think Notre Dame's going to score with them?
I think Notre Dame usually about every year is always way overranked. But I think this USC offense looks pretty daggone impressive. I think old Rice burns them. The old Rice burner, baby.
Well, they are going against probably the best quarterback in the league.
Williams, yeah.
Definitely top 3.
I will say USC did cut it close this week against Arizona. They cut it close last week too against Colorado. They definitely have no defense.
So you're going USC?
I'm going USC by a bunch, yeah. I just hate Notre Dame with a burning passion in my heart.
Good.
I hate them.
Who'd you have?
I've got USC.
I'm going Notre Dame.
Oh, surprise.
I'm going Notre Dame just
that
because
build
you
up.
two went USC.
Okay.
Miami, UNC.
I am never in my life picking Miami. UNC by 1,000,000. And here's what I'll tell you why.
Everybody know.
Have seen everything in my life. I'm 26 years old, and I have never seen a stupider decision made by a play caller in a college football game in my life.
Mm-hmm.
There is 20 or whatever it was, 30-something seconds on the clock. It's third down. All you have to do is take a knee and win the game against Georgia Tech. But instead, you run the ball and fumble, and then they're like, "Oh, they'll never throw a touchdown." What's Georgia Tech do? Throw a touchdown and win the game. How stupid can you be?
Well, even though that didn't work out, you've got to know, you've got to keep everything in front of you, and they let them behind them.
That guy was wide open. There was 4 guys chasing him, wide open, 5
They
yards.
ought to be standing across the 50-yard line or whatever.
That's not even the problem. Letting Georgia Tech throw the touchdown ain't the problem. The problem is you have the game won. All you have to Georgia Tech is out of timeouts. All you got to do is take a knee and you win the daggum game. But instead they say, "Well, we want to get this first down." I mean, my Atlanta boys, come on.
I think they quit teaching kids about, clock control, game control, things like that too. And then because the coach comes out, that's him that makes that call, you know what I mean?
He better be glad I ain't the daggum person that hired him. Because, my goodness.
I mean, man, some places you'd have been fired already for that.
I'm not sure, but I remember it's been a while back, but several years. But I think Miami had done that against somebody else, fumbled at the end of the game and let them come back.
There was something crazy that went on like a year or two ago with them.
Yeah, and but yeah, that's a bonehead mistake from the coaching staff. I mean, and we've talked about it all year. You talked about it in the Rye Cove game. If the Lehigh quarterback would have managed his down and distance and stuff and knew it, and he would have took off running and got that first down, they've got another 4 set of plays, in that game, and it could have ended up different. But yeah, you got to know it, and I think. Union, speaking of that, Union made a mistake like that in their game, last week, but we'll save it till the game comes up.
Man.
Just terrible coaching, though. I've never seen.
Yes.
Gosh, when I watched that, I don't even like Miami or Georgia Tech. But when I watched that, I got so mad I couldn't see straight. I was like, what? Like, how? Why on God's green earth would you not just take the knee?
Like, some of their players are on the sideline, they got this look on their face like, what the heck?
After that fumble, man,
Are we doing?
Like, you should have seen the looks on their face when he fumbled.
Like,
I was
what the
like,
heck
good
are we
Lord,
doing?
man. That's just terrible coaching.
I mean, you don't need a first down. I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, I mean, like, even if you do run the ball in a type of situation like that, you don't run it between the tackles, and you don't fight for extra yards. or anything like that.
That's the thing, though. It's third down. I mean, take the knee.
Take the knee.
You ain't going to lose nothing. They ain't
Let
got no
clock
timeouts.
run.
Yeah.
Punt the ball if you got to.
They wouldn't even have had to. The play clock would have ran. I mean, the play clock would have been longer than the game clock.
Even if you have to, punt the ball.
Yeah,
if you have to.
It's craziness, man.
I mean,
whatever.
Yeah, I take UNC in this game big time.
I just don't know if Miami could. I mean, you don't know if they're going to be able to bounce back from that. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, too. I chased a rabbit on that one.
That's okay.
I was just aggravated, man.
I just knew that you wanted to speak on that.
I did.
And I saved it for this because I thought that it was going to play toe in who we picked in this game. And
terrible.
I honestly don't know if Miami can bounce back from that or not just as quick.
Well, it was so boneheaded of a play that, before we started, Sean said he wanted to add something in there, and I think all three of us knew automatically what it was going to be. That's how boneheaded a mistake it was.
Man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, I do got UNC in this one as well. You picked North Carolina?
Yeah.
Absolutely, even if you do.
We're going all the way around the table, so you can thank us later, Miami.
Yep. Yeah, you're welcome for the win.
Yeah. Week 7 rundown in the high school football in Southwest Virginia. Lehigh put some points on the board this week, boys.
I mean, surprise.
47-0 over John I. Burton. Was that a shocker?
No. I wouldn't have been shocked if they scored triple digits on them.
I know much as we love to disagree, but I think we'd all three had the same score in this game.
Yeah, that was bad.
Thomas Walker 23, Hurley 52. This one's surprising.
Now this one is one I did not see coming.
Me neither.
I did not see that one coming. I picked Thomas Walker to win that, but man alive.
I did too. I think Kermit's the only one that actually took Hurley in this one, but he got one right out of 10 that he's went out on his own on. But no, really, honestly, my thoughts on it, and the reason why I really took Thomas Walker myself was they're going through a coaching change.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They've just hired a new coach, and it was at Thomas Walker from Hurley. So what, ain't us right?
Yeah, really.
I mean, that's like they left on Tuesday to get there for Friday's game. So they didn't have much time to practice.
Yeah, I had a 3-day journey.
Yeah. So honestly, I really. But I mean, man, they absolutely put the hammer down.
Yeah, they did.
That new coach and staff must be doing pretty good, which.
Well, he got him a Gatorade bath. I did see that.
I've seen that too. Yeah.
He did. He got him a Gatorade bath. So.
He definitely deserves it because I didn't think Hurley put up that many points. Even if Hurley going to beat him, I wouldn't have never thought they'd beat him that bad.
It was unreal, man. I was like, oh, Lord. Twin Springs 52, Castlewood 12.
Poor little Castlewood, man.
They scored 6 points more than I feared they would.
Yeah, me too. Twin Springs is a powerhouse.
In that league, they look to be.
Yeah.
Abingdon 42, Marion 13. Abingdon's looking strong, boys.
Yeah, Abingdon looks like what they should have looked like for a while now,
Well, I think on the Abingdon's part, they just come out and play that first game bad.
Yeah.
Other than that first game, they wasn't ready. But, I mean, I think we all expected what happened at Christiansburg was going to happen because Christiansburg's a great ball club, and they usually put it to Abingdon every year. But other than that first game, I think Abingdon's really pulled their stuff back together,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've played a pretty tough schedule. I mean,
no doubt.
That's the only game I thought Abingdon didn't look like Abingdon should was against John Battle.
Yeah.
But every game after that, I think they've been about what you expected out of Abingdon.
I mean, they even kept it close with Tennessee High.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tennessee High's, they're about to make the 5A playoffs.
Yeah, they're good.
You know, in Tennessee. So, John Battle 30, Y6, boys. And we was like, when we had this game last week, we was like, how's it going to come out? I mean, how in the world are they going to get them past 0-0? But I'm telling you, son, Battle turned it up and scored 30 points on Y Central.
I'll probably not pick Battle again the rest of the year. They're just let me down. Well,
I'm glad they let you both down.
Yeah.
I took Battle in this one, and I know I said I wouldn't never pick them again, but I knew I better pick them in this one. I wasn't going. I mean, I back up on my word on it.
I think on this one, I said that a little bit too early, and then when I found out they was playing,
it.
yeah, you daggone right. But when I found out they was playing Wise, I went ahead and went with Wise anyway because I figured it was still going to be a coin toss.
Yeah.
The way both of them's been playing lately, and
I knew it would be big.
But the one thing I do love about John Battle is that quarterback they got. He don't care to sling the ball.
That's a fact.
I mean, it don't matter if he throws 2-3 interceptions. He still goes out there ready to sling the ball.
He's pretty athletic kid.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he really is.
But he don't hold back. I like that.
And when he does tuck and go, he runs the ball hard. I think their running back, the one, he runs the ball real hard to be as little as he is between the tackles. He's like a $115 running between the tackles, and he runs it like he's 215.
Yeah.
That's his brother, I believe, the quarterback's brother. Yeah. So I mean, they're pretty hard nosed kids. Rye Cove 48, Eastside 36. This is the first one of our two big games we had on the thing for last week. Man,
I knew for a fact last week when we were sitting here in this same spot doing this podcast, and I said Rye Cove by a bunch. I knew in the back of my mind it wasn't going to be like that because Eastside don't play like that. Eastside does not get beat like that.
I'm going to tell you something. Eastside brought it in this game, man.
Absolutely they did.
They did.
They had a chance to win it.
Yeah, they had more than one chance to win it. I think the difference was after halftime, they just did not make the adjustments.
Yeah.
You know, they tried to continue with what wasn't really working good, and they didn't make no defensive adjustments to stop Rye Cove.
Right.
Now, Eastside had the lead in the early parts of this game for pretty much the early parts.
It was back and forth,
But the reason I made my decision is I thought Eastside kind of led up against Norton there. And I figure if they go out and play sloppy like that against Rye Cove's going to put it on it. I've never doubted Eastside that they ain't got the kids and the talent. They're young, I understand that, but I've done a lot of little league up there at Coburn, and I know they got athletes that could match up with Rye Cove. It's just however they come out and play, you know.
Well, I mean, even last year, Eastside made that. I mean, it was a pretty good game between the two last year. They made a game of it last year, and don't count Eastside out yet.
Yeah, for a fact.
Don't count them out yet. They've got one more real big game on there and coming up.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say about Eastside is you take Rye Cove, they had that one big game against Honeacre, which now they've had a pretty big game against Lee County. But now Twin Springs, they had that one game against Union. But I believe Eastside really through and through has played a tougher schedule.
They've had a tougher schedule
than the other two teams. You know?
mean, you have Chilhowie, and you gotta look like they've been on the road like the first 4 or 5 games out of the first
long
6 or
road
7,
trips.
and they've had some tough road trips.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, they definitely I think have had it a little rougher than anybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so far.
Rye Cove's played 2 tough games. I think for them.
Honaker.
Lehigh, I think, was a tough game for
Lehigh was
Honaker,
definitely a
But
big
I
game.
think, I'm telling you, I think Honaker would really compete in Mountain 7 if you threw them in there right now, man. They're crazy good. But I think y'all, that is a lot of the truth. I think Eastside has had a tough schedule than a tougher schedule than a lot of the other teams in the Cumberland.
I think it's going to help them,
Yeah.
especially when
We get the
playoff
time,
starts. You know, it's probably not a team you want to see twice.
Yeah.
You know,
No
and then
doubt.
again, it might Rye Cove might beat them 48-0, or they might beat Rye Cove 48-0
Yeah.
when it comes to that game. But I think either way, it's going to be a tough match if they do see each other again. You know, in the playoffs, and Eastside's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
They definitely brought it. Union 20, Ridgeview 14. Sean,
Good game, man. Good game.
what was your take on it, baby?
Well, something I said last week kind of came true. Is I said I thought one of the biggest problems Ridgeview would have is that Union has so many weapons. Like, they got so many good players. But I thought Ridgeview done a great job on defense, keying on the big stars of Union, like Keith Chandler. You know, they took him out of the game. I thought, but that's what I was about to say is they keyed super hard on Keith Chandler because you don't want to get the ball ran down your throat. And then this little number 5 comes out of nowhere, and he's toting the rock, son. Thought Paul Huff had a really good game, but I was impressed with that Ridgeview defense, man. I thought that was the best they looked this year, which this was also their biggest test. But I thought, for Ridgeview, we've been talking about Ridgeview for, however many weeks that they've not played nobody, which I didn't think they had played nobody. And I still think that until now. But I think Ridgeview came in there to prove something, and I thought, them hanging with them did prove something. I thought that, I thought Ridgeview looked good. Now, I will say that Ridgeview's quarterback played terrible. Ryan O'Quinn, he did not play very good. That I can't remember that kid's name for the life of me. Number 7, Kermit. What's that kid's name?
Braxton Bunch.
He had a huge game, picked him off twice. But I thought that was the biggest test that Ridgeview's had this year, and I thought they looked pretty decent for the most part.
Yeah, go ahead, Kermit. You go next.
Well, of course, everybody knows I was at the game, and I thought Ridgeview come out the first half, and whether Union come out flat or what it was, but Ridgeview come out and they run a perfect game plan, and the perfect game plan was to keep Union off the field on offense. And I think they minimized Union to like 13 plays in the first half. But now Union come out, throw the first pass, it went for about 80 yards.
85, yeah.
A little pop pass to Cam Bostic, and went the whole 85 yards, whatever. They went up quick, come out again. Ray Sean rolled out, throwed one up in the middle of the field. I don't even know who he's thrown it to, but Paul Huff, it was more to Ridgeview safety, and Paul Huff he cut his route and run up and jumped up in front of him and brought it down, and he about scored on that. But it seemed like he had a lot of trouble with his foot and all night, like he's slipping and something with the cleats. I don't know, but
Probably all that tape.
But after that, Ridgeview stopped him down there on about 4-yard line, and that was big for Ridgeview because they'd went up another score that quick, that fast. It was like we was talking about last week. That would really put a hurting on Ridgeview, but then Ridgeview started finding a gaping hole right up the middle, and they had some big runs right up the middle, and
2 big ones.
oh yeah, and but Ridgeview ends up going down and scoring, which of course Union missed their extra point, so that put Ridgeview up 7-6 till halftime. And it just pretty much Ridgeview kept the ball and I think 2 really long drives in that first half, even though they didn't come away with points the second time. And that really ate that clock up. And Union went in at halftime with the perfect game, I thought, for the first half. Come out that second half, looked like more like the Union team we expected. They come out pretty fired up and started really getting after it. And they run the ball right down the field, scored. I think Braxton ends up 2 plays later, gets an interception, go right back down the field, score. End up, I think, holding Ridgeview to another 3 and out. They're driving back down.
The first 3 drives were 3 and outs in the second half.
And they start driving back down the field, and you think, well, man, they're getting ready to put this thing away. They're getting ready to go up 27-0, and then after that, it's
7, wasn't it? 27-7 at that point.
Yeah, but you thought they was going to go up 27-7 and really put the game out of hand, and then after that, I don't really want to squawk on it a lot, but man, the refs, I thought they kept Ridgeview in that game a whole lot, and they put a stop to Union real quick. But man, that was a poorly called second half ball game. There was a lot of stuff going on there. Don't really want to talk about nobody's kids or nothing like that, but yeah, it was a bad one-way call ball game right there in that second half, and even at that, Union was still kind of dominating the game, and then Rayshawn, we talk about down and distance, not trying to give the kid a hard time or nothing, but he rolls out, looks like to me it's a screenplay, looks like there's some linemen downfield, rolls all the way out to the sideline, you got 7 minutes left, you're ahead by 2 touchdowns. Just, like we was talking about earlier, just either throw it out of bounds, run out of bounds, punt it away. Your defense is playing great in the second half. I mean, just punt the ball away, and he ends up throwing an interception right to number 17, and I didn't see nobody else around. I don't know where he was trying to throw it to. I don't know if he's trying to throw it out of bounds or whatever, but and that kind of opened the door back for Ridgeview right there. And then I think Ridgeview may hit another gaping hole right up in the middle and went down and scored on Union, and then really made it a tight ball game. And I know there was a little time left on the clock, but I was kind of looking for Ridgeview to kick an onside kick because, I mean, they wasn't driving the ball real fast.
Yep.
And even if you got 5-6 minutes, I was expecting an onside kick, but they kicked it off deep to Union. Union held on to it, drove down the field, run the clock off. Heck of a ball game, though.
Absolutely.
It was a good ball game, and my take on it is that I'm like you. Ridgeview was able to control the time of possession and the possessions in the first half, and that did keep it close more. They had 3 big plays, but they could only execute off of 2 of those, and that's where they get their 14 points. I mean, and Union, outside of that, played, and like you said, I really feel like Union come out and it was probably going to get out of hand in the second half, and the referees kind of, got them back, took care of the momentum, killed it, and it wasn't just that they were calling it good or bad for both teams. I mean, they were just horrible. They couldn't even count. They couldn't even freaking know. They didn't even know how to do an onside.
Yeah.
They marked it 4 yards.
Yeah.
Have to stop the game. Then no, we got another yard to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you take momentum away, guys. I mean, like that and everything. But I mean, Ridgeview, they did play good ball in it. I honestly feel like this game could have very easily been 35-7, as well as just as much as it ended up being 2014.
Yeah.
And, that might be a rematch coming on it.
Something I was really impressed with too is I thought Ridgeview's backs ran the ball the hardest I've seen them run it this year.
They did.
I know that Branson Honaker, 17, he broke off like a big 38-yard run.
And didn't get touched till he got tackled at the 5-yard line.
Well, I was going to say, like, as soon as he broke that run up the middle, there was a defensive lineman standing there. I don't know what he was doing, but he ran plumb over top of that kid. I was like, golly. And then that smaller kid, the number 5 maybe, I think, for Ridgeview, the other little back they have, man, I thought he ran the ball really good. But I think if Ryan O'Quinn played the way that he normally plays, this could have been a really, really different ball game. But like y'all said, I do agree with a lot of what y'all said. But I thought this is something that Ridgeview did need. For, they're 6-0 and they're kind of getting on their high horse a little bit. This kind of knocks them back down, get you ready for the playoffs. And I think, I think we could definitely see a rematch of this one here not too long from now.
They definitely needed this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like the game was closer than what it should have been.
Yeah.
And very well could have been. But, I mean, hats off to Ridgeview. I mean, they took advantage of what was given to them, And that's what you got to do against very good football teams. And so...
And I don't think it's so much that Ryan just played bad. If you'd seen the pressure coming at him...
Right, and I'm not taking nothing away from that Union defense either. They've been eating people up all year.
I mean, when you got so much pressure coming at you and you can't even afford to look downfield, it's hard to... It's hard to stand in the pocket, look downfield, and throw the ball when the first reactions you see who's coming to that line.
I'll tell you, too, I thought Ridgeview was making a big mistake when they kept punting the ball straight to Paul Huff, man. That kid is special. And he took that one back, and it got called back for something. I don't remember.
It was a
block in the back.
A block in the back.
Blindside block. I think it was Keith Chandler, blindside block. But, man... If I was a coach, I wouldn't be punting it straight to that kid because he's way too special a playmaker.
Yeah, he's good, man. Week number 8 games, guys. First up, we got Union versus Wise.
I got Union, and I got them big, son.
I'd say this would be another game like they had during Twin Springs. Probably ain't going to see much of the starters in this one very long.
That's why I was wondering if they were going to bring them or not. I didn't know what was going to happen.
I heard they was trying to get the 8th grade team
get the B team together.
Yeah. I got Union in this, and I got them big, too.
They do got a pretty good 9th grade team down there, and it wouldn't surprise me to see that 9th grade team come out and give them a ball game. But I know every time we go to Wise, it just seems like...
Y'all have a struggle there.
Seems like you expect Union to just blow them out in the first half. You're like, even with James Mitchell and a bunch of them really good teams, you go up there and expect it to be a blowout. Halftime, you're going home because the wind's blowing. It's cold. And it seems like every time that you go into halftime, you're only ahead by a touchdown or two, and you're going, what in the world is going on? Union struggles on Wise Field. For some reason, they have the roughest time up there. But
that is like one of their most struggling teams they play against up there.
I don't know what it is about that field up there, but it's definitely got the jinx on them. I mean... But I believe this year, it's going to be a different game. I believe Union will blow them out at halftime. I will say I believe Union will be up by 30 by half this time. I believe they get over the Wise jinx on that field.
I think it's going to be a different story this time, too.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all get by it. Yeah, absolutely. Burton, George Wythe. I got George Wythe, and I got George Wythe big.
I'm going with you. I got the same thing.
Absolutely, George Wythe. I done got to see them play Union this year in the preseason. They're a pretty good ball club.
Thomas Walker, Twin Valley.
Huh?
Is this a coin toss?
Thomas Walker, Twin Valley. No, I got Thomas Walker. Even if they did lose big to Hurley, I still got Thomas Walker over Twin Valley. Twin Valley's had a football team for how long now?
Do what?
Twin Valley didn't have a football team for a long time.
Yeah.
And then they got one back.
That's because they didn't have enough kids coming out, wasn't it? Is that why they didn't have it?
I don't know. Their girls' basketball team used to be super good, though. They played Clintwood in state my last year of high school.
Yeah, I think it was because they didn't have enough kids to participate. That's the reason why they did. And I got Thomas Walker, and I got them big.
Yeah, I take Thomas Walker. They're a 50-50 team. They lost last week. They'll win this week.
Ridgeview, John Battle. Kermit.
How's that Honaker kid? They carried him off the field there before the end of the game.
Said something, he tweaked his knee and maybe sprained the ankle or something.
But even without Honaker, I think
that's a big loss to them.
That kid's a heck of a player. He is.
Absolutely.
On both sides of the ball.
Yep, he is.
But
you tell he loves football.
He does. And he's just a junior, too. Shoot, man.
So he's a junior, too?
Yeah.
Man, next year, the
Ridgeview looks good next year, yeah.
Ridgeview's young. I mean,
Union's
got a lot of young. Gate City's got a lot of young. Dang, man, there's a lot of young players playing right now on varsity. And
I just think in this game, I'll just take Ridgeview over John Battle. Ridgeview, like I was saying, they're not a bad club. To me, from what I've seen, I think they're just as good as Graham, if not better. It wouldn't surprise me either to see them beat Graham and face Union again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How close was the Battle Virginia High game again?
Don't remember.
I believe it. Go ahead, Sean.
I'll look. I'll look.
It was pretty tight. Even with Virginia High getting 2 interceptions in that game.
Yeah,
they
did have 2 interceptions. They always get interceptions.
I think it was a 1 touchdown.
6-13. Yeah, 6-13.
Yeah.
Battle won it 6-13. Or no, Battle lost.
Is this at Battle or is it at Ridgeview?
It's at Battle.
The game is?
For sure, yep.
Ridgeview played pretty good last time they was over that way. And that's about the same spot. It's just a couple miles down the road.
I was wanting to pick one upset in this, but in this whole thing,
I don't think John Battles looked like they have since Virginia High.
Yeah.
I thought they impressed me against Abilene. I thought Virginia High.
They did look pretty good in them 2 games.
I thought they still looked good against Virginia High, and if you take the interceptions away, they would have probably beat Virginia High. But ever since then, it's kind of like they fell off the wagon, ain't it?
Yeah. What do you think, Aaron?
Man, I'm.
You want me to go ahead and go?
I mean, yeah, go ahead and do your pick.
All right, well. John Battle comes out, first game of the year, beats Abingdon, takes 4 losses in a row. Last week, they turned it up against Central. They're riding high. They're going to get knocked right back down, though. Ridgeview is going to roll, I think, in this one. And they're going to look like Ridgeview's looked all year against, these smaller teams, I think.
So you're thinking it's going to be big?
Yeah, I think Ridgeview will win.
Okay, if you was to predict the score, or what do you think it would be?
35-7, 42-7, something like that.
Man, I don't know. I think it'll be a lot closer ball game than anything.
I don't.
Okay, I'm going John Battle in it.
What?
I'm going John Battle in this
You
game.
called Kermit crazy. You're crazy.
Well, I just want to call an upset, man. And honestly, if they win it, it'll definitely be that.
Oh, it's going to be an upset for sure, yeah.
And I mean,
Iron feels like, they got everything back together, and they've showed you out there against Wise
So
last
they
week.
showed it, didn't they?
I mean, they're back on track.
maybe they got the boulder out of the pond, son, and they're ready to make a big splash again.
Yeah, man.
So
Okay.
I'm just gonna go battle just because.
Crazy
I know it's crazier than sin, man, but I'm going John Battle.
Now, he just talking last week who's going to get a point on the board to win.
Yeah.
But Battle put up 30, man.
It went. Golly, all right.
They're back.
Did you not just see what Ridgeview done against you?
Did you
They're
see what
back.
Ridgeview did
Awesome.
against Virginia High? They could have very easily lost that game, too. And Ridgeview against Union, I think, was not even as close as that score is. Honest to God.
You're still crazy.
I think Union is 28 points better than Ridgeview.
I don't necessarily super disagree with you.
I'm going Battle.
Okay.
Gate City, Lehigh.
Open us up, our big guy. Open us up. See what you got.
I know Jeremy Housewright said that they won a couple big games coming out of the season, and they started looking ahead, and they lost focus, and he took the blame for it. They had an open week this week, which I think was really good for them. Yeah. I told you that the offense has got to change. They started going downhill since Middlesboro, and it's gotten worse each game.
Yeah.
And so he sent them home coming into bye week and told them not to show up till Wednesday.
Mm.
And when they had 2 days to think about it and see where they want where it is to go. And he said, man, most people's going to disagree with me for not having them out here Monday, Tuesday. He said, but they come out Wednesday, and they had the best practice they've had all year long. And he said, we did mention playoffs to them, and he told them right then, it's the last time you'll hear me say anything about the playoffs the rest of this season. So maybe he's gone back on track. I'm not going to say they're going to blow Lee away, but I say it's 28-14 game, Gate City.
What you got, Kermit?
Well, I think it's time for Gate City to hit the reset button. I think it's bye week come at a perfect time for them, getting back in the Mountain 7 District, playing ball. But now, Gate City did lose 2 really good ball players. That's hard.
They got 4 that's been out.
That's hard to replace.
4 starters.
And I think that has something to do with it, losing them great players. But yeah, it's time to get their heads on right and get back in this district and start playing some ball the way they can play ball. And I've got Gate City in this one.
Come on, big guy. I know what you're doing, and it's fine.
I'm thinking about it. I really am thinking about it.
You might as well choose battle.
No. Here's what I'll say. I think that Lehigh they've had flashes where they look really good this year.
I agree.
I think the biggest issue Lehigh's got is, their offense looks good. I think their offense, I love the offense they run, like this no huddle type of, thing that they got going on. The thing that I've seen out of Lehigh, though, is, they play a team like, I'm trying to think of like one of their earlier, like Thomas Walker. They beat Thomas Walker like 41-7 or something. And in that game, their offense is moving the ball, they're flying around, they look really good. But when they play against, these tougher defenses, they don't look very good at all. And I think that Gate City, I know they took some bad losses here the last few weeks, but I think Gate City's defense is decent, and I'll take the Gate City Blue Devils for that reason. But I will say, if Gate City's offense don't play no better than they have been,
It could be a long night.
It could be a long night.
It definitely could. I agree 100%.
They just look stuck in the mud, man.
But I mean, this break might be exactly what they needed to get some kids healed back up. I mean, you lose 4 or 5 starters to injury. I mean, it does take a toll on it. And I don't know that all of it was that. I mean, they just lost focus.
Yeah.
And I think Jeremy's done the right thing in getting them back. And sometimes you just got to step back, step away from it, regroup, and come back to
I agree with that.
Eastside, Twin Springs, boys. I'm going to go first in this.
Go first.
And
No, you don't.
I'm taking Eastside in this game. I'm taking Eastside in this game over Twin Springs.
Surely not.
Yep, I believe they get it done.
Well, I kind of judge Eastside by what they did against Norton the week before, and I go with the same thing and judge them by what they done to Rye Cove. And I believe Eastside plays 4 quarters. I believe Eastside can pull this one off. As bad as I hate to agree with you, I'm gonna go Eastside.
You're going Eastside with me?
You're not gonna right.
Come on, son.
Ride or die, baby. Ride or die.
I'm going to ruin the party.
Run the party and tell us why.
I'm going with the Twin Springs Titans. Now, I'm not saying that they win, 52-0. I'm not saying they win big. I think it'll be a really good game. Like you've said this a bunch, that when you watch, we all agree that Twin Springs and Rye Cove are at the top of the Cumberland District. I think we all agree on that. But Eastside is knocking on the door. I'll say that. But I think that you've said this a lot, and when I went back and watched these Twin Springs game against the same teams that Rye Cove's played, I went and watched Rye Cove play against Honecker, and I thought they moved the ball really well. But I think what you said, something that you said, really kind of I thought about it, and Twin Springs makes it look easier moving the ball on people, I think, than Rye Cove does, and I think Twin Springs has a really good offense, and I think
they're a little more balanced. Than what Twin Springs is. That might be why
they make it. They make it look a little cleaner than Rye Cove does. With this pound and run the ball offense. But I'm going to take Twin Springs because I think their offense might be a little too much for Eastside.
I do agree. I like what you said there. They are a little more balanced.
Yeah.
They throw the ball better than Rye Cove.
100%. Yeah.
They don't run the ball as good, but they run it pretty close.
Yeah.
As good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, you're going Twin Springs?
That's why I'm going Twin Springs.
All right.
But I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying Twin Springs blows them out because, I said Rye Cove would blow Eastside out, and it clearly didn't happen.
One thing is about it is anything helps Eastside out, it's definitely the tougher schedule.
Yeah.
Well, they're definitely going to bring it, and they're going to be physical. And I just feel like, I don't know, Eastside's right there, and I think
I agree.
This is the one that they get it done on. And I think if they beat them, it's another confidence booster for them. And then you got Rye Cove and Twin Springs coming up after that at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And if who knows? Last year Twin Springs pulled that one out.
Right.
So then you got a 3-way tie for daggone Cumberland District.
Yeah.
And I think it could end up being close to being that way again.
Yeah.
It's getting exciting. Getting playoff time.
So, but that's all we got for this week, guys. We appreciate y'all listening. Be sure that you're following us on our Spotify and our Apple podcast. Wherever you get your podcast at, check us out. If we're not on there, send us a message. Let us know we're not on your favorite one. We'll try to get listed on it as well. And if you can, we'd love to see you go over to our YouTube page and smash that subscribe button and follow us there. Like I said, eventually we're going to start getting this thing on film and everything, and so hopefully it'll be pretty good when we get that done and everything. So, if all hearts and minds are clear.
I got one thing. On Facebook, we have over 100 more followers than we have likes. So, if y'all don't care you're following already, make sure you've liked the page. That helps us out some. I just noticed that earlier today. We have like 500 and something followers and like 420 on the likes. But the likes will help us out too. And I'm not saying I don't appreciate y'all following. I'm just asking, if you would go like it too, that would help us out some.
Yeah, absolutely. Continue to like the Facebook page and everything. And with that being said, all minds and hearts clear.
Good. We're out of y'all.
Peace.